You
What
did this
would
to
you do
yourself.
if
I
saving a
told you.
stranger's
I told
life
you what would happen
changed
if you
yours
kept lying.
forever?
Now look at you.
Daniel Brooks
Oh my
never
God, what are you
imagined that
doing?
one stormy night, one split-second decision, would turn his world completely upside down. He was just trying to survive. She was fighting to stay alive. But when their paths collided in the rain-soaked darkness of an Atlanta highway, neither of them knew that this moment would become the beginning of something extraordinary. This is a story about a single father with nothing to his name, a powerful woman who had everything to lose, and the kind of kindness that doesn't ask for anything in return. Sometimes, the people we save end up saving us right back. You ever have one of those days where you're just tired? Not the kind of tired that sleep can fix. The kind that lives in your bones. The kind that comes from working 3 small jobs, patching together a life with duct tape and prayer, and still wondering if you'll make rent this month. That's where Daniel Brooks was. Every single day. Daniel wasn't always like this. There was a time, feels like a lifetime ago now, when he had a steady job as a technician at one of Atlanta's bigger firms. Good pay, benefits, a future that made sense. But life has a way of rewriting your story when you're not looking. His wife left when Maya was just 2 years old. No warning. No explanation that ever really made sense. Just gone. And Daniel? He became both mom and dad overnight. He lost the job a year later. Downsizing, they called it. Corporate restructuring. Fancy words that all mean the same thing. You're on your own now, buddy. So he started taking side gigs. Fixing phones. Repairing old laptops. Patching up broken electronics for people who couldn't afford the big stores. It wasn't much, but it was honest. And it kept the lights on. Most months, anyway. But here's the thing about Daniel Brooks, the thing that made him different, even when life kept knocking him down. He still smiled. He still showed up. And he still made breakfast for his daughter every single morning like it was the most important job in the world. Because to him, it was. It's 6:30 in the morning. The Atlanta sun hasn't fully crept over the skyline yet, and Daniel's already in the kitchen of their small, 2-bedroom apartment. It's not much to look at. Peeling paint on the walls, a refrigerator that hums too loud, a table with one wobbly leg that he keeps meaning to fix, but it's home. And in this moment, with the smell of eggs and toast filling the air, it feels like enough. Daddy, can I have the dinosaur plate? Maya's voice cuts through the quiet like a bell. She's 7 years old, gap-toothed, with eyes that seem too big for her face and a smile that could melt glaciers. She's wearing her favorite purple shirt, the one with the sparkly star on it that's been through the wash so many times the star is barely holding on. Dinosaur plate it is, baby girl, Daniel says, sliding the eggs onto the bright green plate with the T-Rex on it. He watches her dig in, her little legs swinging under the table, and for just a second, the weight lifts. Just a second. But it's enough. Are we gonna have movie night tonight? Maya asks between bites, her eyes hopeful. Daniel hesitates. He's got 2 repair jobs lined up after he drops her at school, and another one that might run late. But he looks at her face, at that hope, and he can't say no. You know it, he says, ruffling her hair. You pick the movie this time. Her grin stretches ear to ear. These moments. These tiny, perfect moments. This is what keeps Daniel going. Not the money. Not the dream of something better. Just her. Just Maya. Just knowing that no matter how hard it gets, she's safe. She's fed. She's loved. That's all that matters. The day drags on like molasses. 2 repair jobs turn into 3. A cracked screen. A laptop that won't boot. A tablet with a fried charging port. Daniel works quickly, efficiently, his hands moving on muscle memory. He's good at this. Real good. But it's hard to feel proud when you're getting paid $20 here, $30 there, and you know it's still not enough. By the time he picks Maya up from school, The sky is already starting to bruise with the promise of a storm. The wind picks up. The air smells like rain. "Daddy, it's gonna storm," Maya says excitedly from the back seat, pressing her face against the window. "Looks like it, sweetie," Daniel says, eyes on the road. His old sedan rattles a little as the wind pushes against it. The car's seen better days, just like everything else in his life, but it runs. And that's all he needs. They make it home just as the first drops start to fall. Daniel gets Maya inside, helps her with her homework, microwaves some leftovers for dinner. She picks The Lion King for movie night, and they curl up on the couch together, her little head resting on his shoulder. For a while, everything is okay. But then his phone buzzes. A text from Mr. Carver, one of his regular clients. "Hey Daniel, my son's computer just died. He's got a big school project due tomorrow. Any chance you could swing by tonight? I'll pay you double." Daniel's heart sinks. He looks down at Maya, already half asleep against him, Simba and Nala glowing on the screen. He doesn't want to go. He wants to stay right here, in this moment, where nothing else matters. But double pay. That could cover groceries for the week. Maybe even put a little extra away for the electric bill. He sighs. Gently, he shifts Maya off his shoulder and lays her down on the couch, pulling a blanket over her. "I'll be back soon, baby," he whispers, even though she's already drifting off. He grabs his toolkit, his jacket, and heads out into the storm. The rain comes down hard. Sheets of it. The kind of rain that makes it hard to see 10 feet in front of you. Daniel's windshield wipers are working overtime, squeaking with every swipe, barely keeping up. The roads are slick, shining under the streetlights like black glass. He's heading down Highway 85, a stretch of road he's driven 1,000 times. It's late now, past 10, and there's hardly anyone else out here. Just him, the rain, and the hum of his tires on wet asphalt. And then he sees it. At first, it's just a shadow. A dark shape off to the side of the road, half hidden by the trees. But as his headlights sweep over it, Daniel's breath catches in his throat. A car. A nice car. Sleek. Expensive looking. Wrapped around a tree like a crumpled soda can. Smoke rising from the hood, mixing with the rain. The front end is completely totaled, metal twisted and torn, glass scattered across the pavement like diamonds. Daniel's heart starts pounding. His hands tighten on the wheel. "Keep driving," a voice in his head says. "It's not your problem. You've got Maya waiting at home. You can't afford to get involved." But even as he thinks it, his foot is already pressing the brake. The car slows. Stops. He sits there for a moment, rain hammering the roof, staring at the wreckage through the blurred windshield. And then he sees movement. A hand. Pale. Pressing weakly against the driver's side window. Someone's in there. Someone's alive. Daniel doesn't think. He just moves. He throws the car into park, grabs his flashlight from the glove compartment, and bolts out into the rain. The storm hits him like a wall. Cold. Brutal. Rain soaking through his jacket in seconds. He runs toward the wreck, his flashlight cutting through the darkness, and as he gets closer, he smells it. Gasoline. Sharp. Pungent. Dangerous. No. No, no, no. He reaches the driver's side door and shines the light inside. There's a woman slumped against the steering wheel, her face pale, a thin line of blood trailing from her temple. Her eyes flutter open, unfocused, glassy with shock. She's trapped. The door is crumpled inward, the frame bent, the seatbelt locked tight across her chest. "Ma'am." Daniel shouts over the rain. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" Her lips move, but no sound comes out. Her hand reaches toward him weakly, trembling. The smell of gasoline is getting stronger. Daniel's eyes dart to the hood. Smoke is still rising, thicker now, and beneath it, he can see the faint orange glow of something starting to burn. This car is going to explode. Panic floods his system, but he pushes it down. He grabs the door handle and pulls. Nothing. It's jammed shut, the metal too warped to budge. He tries again, harder this time, putting all his weight into it. Still nothing. Hold on, he says, more to himself than to her. Just hold on. He runs back to his car, grabs a tire iron from the trunk, and sprints back. He wedges it into the gap between the door and the frame and pulls. His muscles scream. His hands slip on the wet metal. But slowly, agonizingly slowly, the door starts to give. With one final, desperate heave, it pops open. Daniel throws the tire iron aside and leans in. The woman's eyes meet his, and for just a second, there's recognition. Fear. Gratitude. I've got you, Daniel says, his voice steadier than he feels. He reaches across her, fumbling with the seatbelt release. It's stuck. Jammed. Of course it is. He pulls out his pocket knife, flips it open, and starts sawing through the strap. The fabric resists, but finally, it gives. The woman slumps forward, and Daniel catches her. She's heavier than she looks, dead weight in his arms, but he doesn't care. He hooks one arm under her shoulders, the other under her knees, and lifts. The moment he pulls her free, the flames under the hood flare up. Daniel runs. He doesn't look back. Doesn't think. Just runs through the rain, carrying this stranger, his boots slipping on the wet grass, his heart hammering so hard it feels like it might burst. He makes it 20 feet. 30. 40. And then, boom. The explosion rips through the night like thunder. A wave of heat blasts across his back, and Daniel stumbles, nearly dropping her. He catches himself, keeps moving, and finally, he collapses onto the wet grass, the woman still in his arms. He lies there for a moment, chest heaving, rain pouring down on both of them, and stares up at the sky. We're alive. We're alive. Behind him, the car is an inferno. Flames licking up into the rain, black smoke billowing into the night. If he'd been 5 seconds slower. He doesn't let himself finish the thought. The woman in his arms stirs. Her eyes flutter open again, just barely, and she looks at him. Really looks at him. There's something in her gaze. Confusion, maybe. Or disbelief. Like she can't quite understand why this stranger pulled her from death. You're okay, Daniel whispers, his voice hoarse. You're okay now. Her lips move again, and this time, a single word comes out. Thank you. And then her eyes close, and she goes still. Daniel doesn't remember much about the ambulance ride. Just flashing lights. The wail of sirens cutting through the rain. Paramedics moving around him with quick, practiced efficiency. Someone wrapping a blanket around his shoulders. Someone else asking him questions he can barely hear over the ringing in his ears. Sir, are you injured? Sir, what's your name? Sir, can you tell us what happened? He answers on autopilot. His voice sounds far away, like it belongs to someone else. All he can think about is Maya, asleep on the couch, alone. He needs to get home. He needs to get back to her. The woman, the stranger he pulled from the flames, is loaded onto a stretcher, an oxygen mask over her face, for lines already being threaded into her arms. She looks so small under the bright lights of the ambulance. So fragile. Nothing like the fierce, desperate survivor who grabbed his hand in that crumpled car. Is she going to be okay? Daniel asks, his voice cracking. One of the paramedics glances at him. You saved her life, the man says simply. She's in shock, probably has a concussion, but she's breathing. She's alive because of you. Daniel nods, but the words don't quite land. He doesn't feel like a hero. He feels exhausted, soaked, scared. A police officer approaches, notepad in hand, asking for his statement. Daniel tells him everything. The crash, the smoke, the explosion. The officer writes it all down, thanks him, tells him he did a good thing. But Daniel barely hears him. All he can think about is getting home. Finally, they let him go. He drives back through the rain, his hands still shaking on the wheel, his clothes sticking to his skin. When he walks through the door of his apartment, Maya is still curled up on the couch, exactly where he left her, the TV playing the end credits of The Lion King on a loop. He stands there for a moment, just watching her breathe. Safe, warm, untouched by the chaos of the night. And then, quietly, he locks the door, peels off his wet jacket, and collapses into the chair beside her. He doesn't sleep. He just sits there, staring at nothing, replaying the night over and over in his head. The crash. The flames. The woman's hand reaching for him through the glass. Who was she? He doesn't know. And honestly, he's not sure he'll ever find out. 3 days pass. Life goes back to normal. Or at least, Daniel tries to make it go back to normal. He drops Maya off at school. He picks up a couple more repair jobs. He pays what he can on the overdue electric bill and prays the rest can wait another week. He doesn't tell anyone about the crash. Not the other parents at school. Not Mr. Carver. Not even Maya. What would he say? Hey, I pulled a stranger out of a burning car the other night? It sounds absurd. Like something out of a movie. Not real life. Not his life. But on the third day, something changes. Daniel's at home, fixing a busted laptop at the kitchen table, when his phone buzzes. A text from his neighbor, Mrs. Chen, who lives 2 doors down. Daniel, turn on the news. Channel 5. Right now. He frowns. Mrs. Chen isn't the type to send cryptic texts. She's practical. No nonsense. If she's telling him to turn on the news, something's up. He wipes his hands on his jeans, grabs the remote, and flips on the small TV in the corner of the living room. Channel 5. The midday news. And then he sees her. The woman from the crash. She's on the screen. Standing outside a hospital, surrounded by reporters, microphones shoved in her face. She's wearing a tailored blazer, her hair pulled back, a small bandage on her temple the only sign of the accident. She looks composed, confident, powerful. Nothing like the pale, trembling woman Daniel pulled from the wreckage. The headline scrolls across the bottom of the screen. CEO Ariana Cole survives near-fatal car crash. Identity of rescuer unknown. Daniel's heart stops. CEO. Ariana Cole. He knows that name. Everyone in Georgia knows that name. She's one of the most successful businesswomen in the state. Runs a tech empire worth billions. Her face has been on magazine covers, billboards, business journals. She's not just rich. She's powerful. The kind of person who moves in circles Daniel can't even imagine. And he saved her. He saved her. On the screen, a reporter asks, Ms. Cole, do you know who rescued you that night? Ariana hesitates. For just a moment, something flickers across her face. Something soft, almost vulnerable. Then she straightens, her mask sliding back into place. No, she says quietly. I don't. But I'm looking for him. I owe him my life. Daniel sits down hard on the couch, his legs suddenly weak. He stares at the TV, his mind racing. She's looking for me. He doesn't know what to do with that information. Part of him wants to reach out, to let her know he's okay, that he doesn't need anything. But another part, the part that spent the last 3 years scraping by, the part that's tired of being invisible, that part wonders what would happen if he did. Would she even remember him? Would she care? He shakes his head. It doesn't matter. He didn't pull her out of that car for recognition. He did it because it was the right thing to do. Because someone needed help, and he was there. That's all. He turns off the TV and goes back to fixing the laptop. But deep down, he knows this isn't over. 2 days later, Daniel's life gets turned upside down. Again. It's a normal afternoon. He's parked outside Maya's school, waiting in the pickup line like he does every day. Parents chat in clusters. Kids burst through the doors, backpacks bouncing, voices loud and bright. The sun is warm. The sky is clear. And then a car pulls up. Not just any car. A sleek, black luxury sedan with tinted windows and chrome accents that catch the light like a mirror. It glides into the parking lot like it owns the place, and every head turns. Parents stop mid-conversation. Kids point and whisper. Daniel feels his stomach drop. The back door opens, and she steps out. Ariana Cole. She's wearing a charcoal suit, heels that click against the pavement, sunglasses that hide her eyes. She looks like she just stepped off the cover of a magazine. And she's walking straight toward him. Daniel's heart starts pounding. He glances around, hoping she's heading for someone else. Anyone else. But no. Her eyes, even behind those sunglasses, are locked on him. The other parents are staring now. Whispering. Phones are coming out. This is going to be all over the school gossip chain by tonight. Mr. Brooks. Ariana says as she stops in front of him. Her voice is smooth, controlled, but there's something underneath it. Something warm. Daniel stands, suddenly very aware of his faded jeans and the grease stain on his shirt from this morning's repair job. Yeah. That's me. She takes off her sunglasses, and he sees her eyes for the first time in daylight. Brown. Sharp. But also, grateful. I've been looking for you, she says quietly. I saw you on the news. Daniel stammers. You didn't have to. Yes, I did. She cuts him off gently. Can we talk? Somewhere private. Daniel glances toward the school doors. Maya will be out any minute. I'm picking up my daughter. I know, Ariana says. I'll wait. And she does. She stands there beside him, ignoring the stares, the whispers, the phones pointed in their direction. When Maya finally comes bounding out, all smiles and energy, she stops dead in her tracks at the sight of the fancy car and the elegant woman standing next to her dad. Daddy, who's that? Maya whispers, eyes wide. A friend, Daniel says, the word feeling strange in his mouth. Come on, let's go home. Ariana follows them. In her car. To his apartment. And Daniel has no idea what's about to happen next. Inside the small apartment, Ariana looks around. Daniel sees it through her eyes. The peeling paint, the second-hand furniture, the pile of repair jobs stacked on the kitchen table. He feels a flush of embarrassment creep up his neck. It's not much, he mutters. It's a home, Ariana says simply. She turns to Maya, who's peeking out from behind Daniel's leg. Hi there. You must be Maya. Your dad's told me about you. Maya looks up at Daniel, confused. He hasn't told this woman anything. Ariana smiles gently. Actually, that's not true. But I'd love to get to know you. She hands Maya a small gift bag. Inside is a stuffed lion, a really nice one, soft and detailed, with a little mane that's almost lifelike. Maya's face lights up. It's Simba, she gasps. I heard you like the Lion King, Ariana says. She glances at Daniel. Security footage from the highway. Your car was caught on camera that night. It took my team 2 days to track you down. Daniel swallows hard. You didn't have to do that. Yes, Ariana says firmly. I did. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a tablet. She taps the screen a few times, then turns it toward him. It's the footage. Black and white, grainy, but clear enough. Daniel's car pulling over. Daniel running through the rain. Daniel pulling her from the wreckage. The explosion lighting up the frame like a flashbulb. Daniel watches himself, and it feels surreal. Like watching a stranger. You risked your life for me, Ariana says, her voice thick with emotion. You didn't know who I was. You didn't ask for anything. You just helped. Anyone would have done the same, Daniel says quietly. No. Ariana shakes her head. They wouldn't have. Most people would have kept driving. I know I would have. The honesty in her voice surprises him. She takes a breath. I came here to thank you. Properly. And to apologize for leaving your home the way I did that morning. I was disoriented, scared, and I didn't handle it well. You don't owe me anything, Daniel says. I owe you everything. Ariana's eyes are glassy now. And I'd like to give you something. A gift. No strings attached. Daniel tenses. I don't want your money. I know, Ariana says. That's why I didn't bring cash. She pulls out a folder. Opens it. Inside are documents. Legal papers. I bought the building you're renting from, she says calmly. Daniel's heart stops. You, what? I purchased it 3 days ago. And I've cleared your lease. This apartment is yours, Daniel. Free and clear. No rent. No mortgage. Yours. The room spins. Daniel grabs the edge of the table to steady himself. I can't accept that. Why not? Because it's too much. I didn't save you for. I know you didn't, Ariana says, her voice soft but firm. That's exactly why I'm doing this. Daniel looks at her, searching for the catch. The angle. The hidden cost. But all he sees is sincerity. I grew up in foster care, Ariana says quietly. 12 different homes before I aged out at 18. I fought for everything I have. And somewhere along the way, I forgot what it's like to just be kind. To help someone without expecting something back. You reminded me. She pauses, her voice breaking just slightly. You reminded me what it means to be human. Daniel's throat tightens. I have another proposition, Ariana continues. I want to start a foundation. For single fathers like you. People who are working 3 jobs, struggling to keep the lights on, raising kids on their own and getting no help. No recognition. I want to call it the Brooks Fund. Daniel stares at her. Why? Because you deserve to be honored, Ariana says. And because there are thousands of people out there just like you. And they need to know someone sees them. She holds out her hand. Help me build this. Be the face of it. Let me turn what you did into something bigger. Daniel looks at her hand. Then at Maya, playing with her new lion on the couch. Then at the papers on the table. And for the first time in years, he lets himself hope. He takes her hand. Okay, he whispers. 1 month later. The ballroom is enormous. Chandeliers hang from the ceiling like frozen fireworks. Round tables draped in white linen fill the space, each one surrounded by people in suits and gowns that probably cost more than Daniel's car. There's a stage at the front, a massive screen behind it displaying the logo of the Brooks Fund in gold letters. Daniel stands backstage, tugging at his tie. It's too tight. Or maybe he just can't breathe. He's wearing a suit, Ariana insisted, and she had one tailored for him, and he feels like an imposter. Like at any moment, someone's going to realize he doesn't belong here and ask him to leave. You ready? Ariana appears beside him, radiant in a navy gown, her hair swept up, her smile warm. No, Daniel admits. She laughs. Good. That means you're human. What if I mess up? You won't. What if I do? Ariana places a hand on his shoulder. Then you'll mess up in front of people who already love you. Trust me. The music swells. It's time. They walk onto the stage together, and the room erupts in applause. Daniel's eyes scan the crowd. Business leaders, philanthropists, reporters, cameras. And there, in the front row, is Maya. She's wearing a new dress, her hair done up in braids, and she's grinning so wide Daniel thinks his heart might burst.